Hello, and welcome to another episode of Riding in Cars with Books. I'm Jaclyn,
And I'm Phillip.
and today we are discussing Spider-Man: The Other.
Dun, dun, dun.
Evolve or Die.
Yep, that's what they say.
And this is written by many people, but mostly Peter David. We have some Reginald, Hudlin, and Straczynski.
Well, those are three different books, so it's all written. 4 issues is written by Peter David, 4 issues is written by Straczynski, and 4 issues are written by Hudlin.
Okay, well, they're listed under each one.
I'm just saying, yeah, but
yeah.
each section was.
It involves issues from Amazing Spider-Man and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Marvel Knights Spider-Man.
Yes.
So there's 3 ongoing Spider-Man titles going on at once.
Oh, there used to be more than that.
That's crazy.
Like, there used to be way more than that.
Well, what is it about, you may ask? Oh, and this came out in like 1999. Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm telling you. This was
Amazing Spider-Man 1999.
Oh,
so that's when the series
started.
That's when the
series is, yeah.
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man 2005 and Marvel Knights Spider-Man 2004.
Right. So it's probably around the 2006-ish era.
Well, because it's 1 through 4 of Neighborhood Spider-Man, so that means it's 2005. Yeah.
So you're talking 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. This is pre-Civil War stuff.
Okay. So I'm going to read the back of the book. Haunted by unsettling dreams, disturbed by a growing sense of dread, convinced that people are out to get him, Spider-Man faces his biggest threat yet, a foe so insidious he can't hope to handle it alone. With friends like Reed Richards, Stephen Strange, and Hank Pym, he won't have to. But can even the world's greatest minds change the course of fate? And if they could, would they dare? Having finally accepted his fate, Peter Parker decides to put the red and blue tights in the closet and spend some quality time with Aunt May and MJ. But the deadly Morlun has other plans. Beaten to the edge of death by the one foe he has never defeated, hovering in a place short of heaven or hell, Spidey must embark on a journey unlike anything he's ever experienced.
Dun, 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 dun.
Sometimes they give away way too much.
But really nothing, really.
We are going to spoil this whole dang thing because it's old and it doesn't matter.
20 years old.
So
20 plus years old.
Morlun played a really big role in this story, and I read some Morlun, I think, in Spider-Verse, but that was way after this.
Right.
Can you just briefly tell me who the heck is Morlun?
So the whole premise of a lot of Straczynski's run was a spider totem.
Okay.
Right? Like, there's been spider people throughout history, so Peter's not the first spider person, right? And so Morlun is from another, like, universe, and they feed on spiders.
Right.
So they've come in every generation to feed on spiders. So they're basically, like, I guess,
Spider
vampires
hunters.
For spiders.
Yeah.
In a
yeah, that's why I asked. I was like, is it a vampire?
I mean, they're not vampires, but they're kind of that.
It's a vampire spider.
And so they come and they hunt each one, and they've killed many of them, and that's still what the hunt is. They get their power from the spider totem, basically, and that's what he does. Is he tries to come and kills.
So he appears a lot throughout the story, but sometimes I feel like other people can't see him.
Yes.
Is that just because he's really good at hiding, or does only Peter know he's there?
I think it's just the way that he's doing things, that sometimes he's just watching people from a shadow and they just don't know that he's there. Because he's kind of from, like I said, he's from a different plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a different universe that's out there hunting spiders. And this series plays into that. I mean, they don't actually, they talk about the spider totem once in here, but they don't really talk about that a lot, but it plays into this story a lot because of what happens.
Yeah. So I like that there's a lot of other characters in the book, like the ones listed on the back, but there's also Hulk and Cap and Iron Man and Black Panther, and there's a whole bunch of people in here.
Yes.
It was really cool because he's part of the Avengers.
Yep. This is a part of that whole series where he's part of the Avengers, living in Avengers Tower. pre-Civil War, so Civil War has not happened yet.
Yeah. But also, I think this is the second thing Spider-Man related. You're glowing.
Ooh,
This is
shiny.
the second Spider-Man story by Straczynski that I've read. And the first one was Revelations. And that really is about his relationship with Aunt May and how he's like hiding something from her. But in this, Aunt May knows that he's Spider-Man.
Right, so Revelations came first.
But there's a really big part of this story is still he does what he does because of Uncle Ben.
Right.
And that goes back to our conversation from Between the Gutters on Friday of why Uncle Ben is so important to Peter and why he can never be resurrected as a character.
Right.
And MJ and Aunt May both touch on that in this book, and I thought that was really, really well done. How they're like, you need to stop doing this for. How would you. You're better with words. When MJ sat down and talked to him about his reasons for being Spider-Man.
Right. I mean, he's, once again, it's just the responsibility is there, and he doesn't want anyone else to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where he goes through, and he goes through different phases of like no one dies and all this, but his drive is still to make sure that he does whatever he can. And actually, Captain America or Steve put it best in here is like, we're driven, like this is our call, and we sacrifice for this call, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it just so happens Tony's rich, so he's okay, but Peter's not.
No.
And so, but he still has that drive, and
Uncle Ben was that drive, but he finds out that he's dying, and it's like, is it still worth you putting yourself on the line when you yourself are dying?
Right. But once again, it's who he is, right? Like his feelings at the end of the day, and which is why I think one of the reasons that I fell in love with Spider-Man at such an early age is your feelings don't really matter, right? It's how do you help and protect everyone else regardless of what's happening to you. And like everyone always in Spider-Man, always, right? Everyone's like, well, he's a little ditzy because he forgets to show up or he does that, but he prioritizes, right? He figures that someone else's life is more important than him having a friend or letting a friend down.
Yeah.
Right? Because letting the friend down is only really like, I didn't show up to your party. Right? So for him, that's deprioritized. And in this, you see the same thing. Like Peter's dying. Like he's legitimately dying in this. It plays into the spider totem, but he is dying. And the way he handles dying is he still puts on, even though the bag says he puts it up, he does spend quality time with MJ and shows that he truly is like in love with her, like she is the one, and proves it to her. And he does the same thing with Aunt May. But at the end of the day, he still puts on the tights and goes out to protect people because it's what he does. It's who he is.
Yeah. There was one part where he broke into this place. Aunt May and MJ are wearing old Iron Man armors, and they break into this place, and they go to
it's Doom's castle.
Okay, that's what it is. And there's a time machine, and they go in and they travel to when Peter was saying goodbye to his parents when they dropped him off at Aunt May and Uncle Ben's house.
Right.
And we're only there for a second. We literally see his parents leave. He has a good cry, and then they travel back. But
it was good for Aunt May too, because she got to see Uncle Ben.
Yeah. So there's like a time where, okay, I'm dying. What would you travel back in time to do see one more time before you're dead?
Right.
And that's what he chose. I don't know what I would choose.
No, but once again,
for Peter, he got to see his parents again.
Right.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, we don't know what's in the afterlife.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that he chose. And he got to spend quality time with MJ in a space station.
Yeah. So like again, this is back to the other Straczynski book, the Revelations. It was a very human story.
Yes.
And I feel like the same could be said for this one. It starts with like a superhero type thing where he's trying to defeat, what was his name? Pacer?
the Tracer.
Tracer, whatever.
Eh,
He's
whatever.
trying to defeat Tracer, and then most of it after that, when he realizes like, hey, something's wrong, it's a journey of figuring what's wrong, and then it all
Right.
tells
Spoiler
from there.
alert: Peter dies.
Peter dies.
But he doesn't die from the thing that the radiation that's killing him. He technically dies from the beating he takes from Morlun.
Yeah, Morlun beats him to death.
Eats his eyeball.
Yeah, he looks terrible. When the pedestrians.
Well, it was the EMT. The EMT ripped off his mask.
When he ripped off his mask, he was not recognizable, and so that kind of worked with keeping his identity hidden.
Right.
And they get him to the hospital, and of course Tony shows up. Was like, we're getting him out of here.
Right.
He's not safe here. And the nurse is like, nah, he's gonna die. But he dies anyway.
Well, and that's a good scene too, right? Because they really cause enough. Iron Man and them cause enough of a scene to allow MJ to sneak into the room.
Mm-hmm.
And when MJ sneaks into the room, Morlun shows up to finish off the job.
Yeah.
And Morlun then breaks MJ's arm.
Yep.
And in one last instinct, it becomes a battle, but basically between Peter's dying body.
Yep.
And Morlun, and things happen.
Yeah.
And then Peter dies.
So then we get his body back to Stark Tower, and they just are trying to figure out, how do we say that Peter's dead, because people saw Spider-Man die when like protecting his identity.
Right.
So they're coming up with all these scenarios and like thinking of those things. And then eventually when they go back to see the body, it's like hollowed out.
Right. Alarms
corpse.
Start going off in the whole tower.
Mm-hmm.
And then the upper window is broken out. And then basically the body, it's just like a husk.
It looks crazy.
It does look pretty. And going back to your other statement, because I was thinking it earlier as we talk about this, I think that's the one thing that the Straczynski run did for Spider-Man that hadn't happened in a long time, was everything felt real.
Yeah.
Like all of his, and once again, I know this was also Hudlin and Peter David a part of this, but it was, once again, Amazing Spider-Man, which was Straczynski's book. It all really felt real during this time. And I think that's what was so wonderful about Marvel during that time, because this led into Civil War. Like Civil War came in at after this, but like even the whole all the conversations between Peter and Mary Jane and her trouble of like, I know you're doing this, but sometimes you're still hiding stuff from me, or Aunt May, and it's like, because Peter doesn't know, he doesn't want to hurt people, right?
Yeah.
Like he knows he's dying, but he still doesn't know how to tell MJ until finally she's like, hey dude,
what's going on?
What's going on? And because MJ thinks he's being reckless.
I mean, he kind of is.
Well, I mean, he kind of is, but at the same time, he's dealing with stuff.
He doesn't deal with things well on his own, whether
No.
he thinks he does.
No, not at
But
all.
yeah, he feels very human in here, not like, oh, he's a superhero.
Correct.
But
And then this leads into what the other story part is, right? So the first half of this book is really Peter dealing with the sightings of Morlun, the final Morlun fight, and then Peter dying. Well,
and we learn what the other is.
And we learn what the other is, and then there's like things going on in his subconscious of the other is the spider.
The part of him that is the spider is separated from Peter because in his death.
Right.
And so we're conversating with
the spider,
with the
and
spider
Peter.
And Peter. Yeah. And so they're kind of two different entities.
Yeah. They're like in that totem realm where he's having that conversation with the spider, and it's like, you know, you never really looked in, you know, you got bit and you got some of these powers, but you never really looked into what this could have meant, and you were kind of holding yourself back.
Yeah.
Because there's more things that you could have become, and it was like, now is the time. Do you really want to be more man or more spider, or how do we work together and become what we both should have been?
It felt very Venom-like. With
it's that, once again, we're back to the totem piece, right? This is where the spider totem came in.
But then the new spider that we're seeing, since we never really saw it before because he was like suppressing it,
right?
The spider we're seeing now feels more
real.
evil too, though. Like he looks scarier.
Well, I mean, it's a spider. Spiders are
Yeah.
scary and inherently, right, to most people.
Yeah.
So
we see
but it basically he
that
cocoons,
regenesis.
right?
Yeah.
So basically, it's whatever was inside of that husk escapes. He cocoons for 5 days, and then Peter shows back up, and he's completely healed from all of his wounds.
So is MJ. She's not where to cast.
Yeah, that was seen.
They didn't touch on that.
We don't really. Yeah, we're not going to have that. It was almost like that was a scene in a book that everyone forgot actually happened.
Yeah. Was this a dream? Like, he did have a lot of dreams, so it almost felt like that part was a dream because it was not really, it was kind of just touched and then moved on.
Yeah, maybe, but I think it happened.
No, I do too. But there were some other parts that you could definitely tell were dreams.
Yeah, the dream stuff was really there. But this is then after this, Peter started getting the spikes, where he could shoot spikes out of his wrist. And he made a comment that he kind of feels like Wolverine, but Spider-Man spikes was built from the internal webbing that he then, like, they don't go into the internal webbing a whole lot in here yet, but that's where this came from. So kind of like if you saw the first Tobey Maguire movie where he did internal webbing, that's what Peter has in here because he's mostly spider, but he could turn that webbing into a hard spike.
Interesting.
And that's where the spikes come from. It's not bone like Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
It's actual spikes itself.
Wolverine played an interesting role in this book as well because he's in Stark Tower.
Because he's an Avenger too during this time.
And when MJ is mourning, he hits on her and she smacks the shit out of him, and it was beautiful. But he did that to give her something to be angry at, to like take a break from her grief, kind of.
Right, so she wouldn't shut down.
Yeah, and so that.
And they touch back on that again later too.
But that was a very Logan thing to do.
Yeah. I think people forget, if you've been reading Marvel Comics for a very long time, Logan and Peter have a very interesting relationship together. Like, they really are friends, even though they are not friends. And like every year, like they don't, once again, the comics don't always show it, but for a while there, they went into a thing where every year Logan and Spider-Man go to a bar and hang out on Logan's birthday every year. And they showed it for a few years, but it's one of those things where they just don't make a story about it every year, but they still do it. Right?
I would love to read more about that dynamic.
It is a part of their relationship because there's just certain things. At the end of the day, once again, what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man is everyone wants to make fun of him because of his jokes, his quips, and all that stuff.
Yeah, he never lost his humor in here either.
Everyone relates to him in some way, and so they know they can rely on him, and they come to him for a conversation.
Yeah.
If they need something, it's always Peter. Always. And this book, once again, showed it.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's the part that people forget. Like, yes, is Spider-Man one of the main key characters in all of comics? Absolutely. But there's a reason he is. And MJ touched on it in this story too. MJ actually was sitting there going, Spider-Man was never the hero.
You are.
Peter was the hero. Peter told Tony and basically in Captain America, like Spider-Man was not the hero in this. Peter was the hero. He's always been the hero. Spider-Man is just a mask that he puts on so he can do what Peter needs to do.
Yeah.
But even without the mask, MJ basically said he would do this. This is what he would do because this is who he is. And basically, when they were coming up with how Peter died, she was like, I want the people who made fun of people to understand what type of person he was.
Yeah. She didn't want some like boating accident. She wanted
like
it
some
to be...
klutz kind of accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved seeing the dynamic of MJ and how she was handling everything, and then Aunt May too. Like, it was a very human story, and I think Marvel does really, really well with those stories. Human stories, because most of their characters are just humans. Some happen to have powers, but I really enjoyed this a lot.
Right. Yeah, like I said, it once again, during this time of Marvel, everything felt real, right? And that's I'll say it. I think that's one of the things that I feel like has been missing from Marvel lately. But I think DC has gotten really well at is making things feel a little bit more real.
Yeah.
I don't know if either company though is doing stories like this, right? That make it feel more real. Because Civil War does too. Like once Civil War comes around, it's like another whoa. And we do see at the end of this where Tony is starting to build the Iron Spider suit.
Yeah.
So we all know where this is going.
There was a lot of interesting aspects in this book, and I liked how the three stories played well together, and seeing all the other background characters help Peter. It was just really, really well done.
Well, I mean, once again, I think this book showed you how important Peter and Spider-Man is to everyone, right? Like regardless of what they say or what they think, this is because this isn't the first time or the last time that Captain America helps Peter, and like there's been great conversations between Steve and Peter throughout the years about who he is and why he is the way he is and how important he is to everyone in the universe and what he sacrifices, right? And people understand that from a standpoint. Now, once again, it can still be hard for people who love you, like Mary Jane and Aunt May, to understand that, but like the heroes themselves understand the sacrifice.
Yeah. And seeing Steve be like a confidant for MJ, I enjoyed that as well. Because she's living there with all the Avengers. She's like, I don't have any friends. This is the life that I'm just living for Peter, basically. And she doesn't have anyone to talk to. Because she can't go talk to some rando about what's going on because...
And she goes into that conversation.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I can't tell anybody because then...
Right.
It's the secret identity.
Right. Because during this time, she's an actress and she can't talk to any friends or people that she deals with there because she can't go, oh, my husband's Spider-Man.
Right. Right. And she's
work.
Got a secret admirer, creep.
Yeah, that all plays out later. Too, so.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but this is a great story. It's parts of this is going to lead into the movie, which of course, while we're doing this, the new Tom Holland
we're
movie.
spectating parts of this will be in the movie based on the preview showing him losing
or having organic webbing.
Yeah.
And doing the black eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
Which you see in the other.
Yes.
It happens.
So I'm curious.
Yep.
So what are we reading after this?
Life Story.
That's going to be completely different.
Yep, that'd be a completely different story than this. Yep. It's kind of like it's kind of a what if.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man the Other, Evolve or Die. And of course, when we get to when we're like, oh, this is why it's called The Other. I'm like at a aha moment.
Right.
But Spider-Man the Other, Evolve or Die, written by Straczynski, Peter David, and Reginald Hudlin.
That's correct.
And
Mike Wieringo is one of the artists.
Yeah, the artist.
Which is he was from
Mike
Richmond.
Deodato, Mike Wieringo, and Pat Lee.
Yeah, Ringo passed away a few years ago. That's where the Ringo Awards came from. So Mike did a lot of stuff on this.
But definitely would recommend this if you're looking to read some Spider-Man before the movie, or just want to read Spider-Man in general.
Yep.
I'm glad we picked this one.
Yeah, it was great.
It was really good. Thanks.
Thanks.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.